Most people think we love Batman because he wins. We love the gadgets, the car, and the idea that one man can actually make a difference in a world that's falling apart. But if you look closely, really look at the Batman we see in the latest films, you'll realize something uncomfortable. He's not winning. Not really. Every night he goes out, he stops a few muggers. He might even take down a colorful psychopath or two. But the next morning, the city is still bleeding. The corruption is still there, deeper than any Batarang can reach. The shadows just grow back. So why does he keep doing it? Is it just madness? Or is there something deeper in the act of fighting a battle you know you're gonna lose? In this video, we're moving away from the cool hero and looking at the man who has to wake up every Monday morning with fresh bruises and the same old problems. We're gonna talk about the philosophy of the absurd, and why Robert Pattinson's Batman might be the most honest version of the character we've ever seen. Not because he saves the city, but because he stays, even when he knows he can't. You ever feel like you're running as fast as you can, but the floor is moving in the opposite direction? That's Gotham. In most superhero stories, there's this idea of cleaning up the streets. Like crime is some kind of dirt you can just scrub away if you're tough enough, or have enough high-tech gadgets. But the Batman we see now, especially this younger, raw version, is starting to realize that Gotham isn't a mess to be cleaned. It's a machine that's designed to break people. Think about it. Bruce Wayne spends his nights taking down the same types of criminals in the same types of alleys. He locks them up, and a few months later, the system spits them back out, or new ones grow in their place. It's an endless cycle. And it's not just about the criminals. It's the city itself. The architecture is heavy, the rain never stops, and the corruption isn't just in the police department, it's in the very foundation of how the city breathes. When you're in that position, hope starts to feel like a cruel joke. If you save one person tonight, but 10 more are hurt tomorrow, did you actually win? This is where a lot of people would just quit. They'd look at the math and realize the numbers don't add up. Why bleed for a city that seems to enjoy its own decay? But Bruce doesn't look at the math. He can't. If he started calculating his success rate, he'd have to admit that his entire life's work is basically a drop of water in an ocean of grease. And that's a terrifying thought for someone who sacrificed his childhood for a mission. We see him in the Batcave, staring at screens, obsessing over details, trying to find a pattern in the chaos. He's looking for a way to solve Gotham. But the more he looks, the more he realizes there is no solution. There's no final boss you can punch to make the city good again. There's no master plan that fixes poverty, greed, and the darkness in people's hearts. This realization changes the way he moves. He's not the smiling hero on a billboard. He's a guy who's frustrated. He's angry because he's starting to see the treadmill he's on. He's starting to see that no matter how hard he hits, the city just absorbs the blow and asks for more. This is the moment where heroism stops being about glory and starts being about endurance. It's about the guy who keeps showing up to a job that offers zero rewards and no retirement plan. So, if the mission is doomed, why keep the suit on? Why keep the cowl? To answer that, we have to look at a guy who lived in a completely different world but understood Batman better than anyone: Albert Camus. There was this French philosopher named Albert Camus who spent a lot of time thinking about exactly this kind of hopelessness. He had this idea called the absurd. Basically, the absurd is the conflict between us humans who desperately want life to have a clear meaning and the universe, which is just silent. The universe doesn't care about your plans or your sense of justice. It just exists. To explain this, Camus pointed to an old Greek myth, Sisyphus. You've probably heard of him. He was the guy condemned by the gods to push a massive boulder up a hill, only for it to roll back down the second he reached the top. For eternity. It's the ultimate picture of a wasted life. No progress, no end, just repetitive, grueling work that leads nowhere. Now, look at Batman again. Look at Bruce Wayne in that damp cave, stitching up a wound from a fight that won't change Gotham's future. He is Sisyphus. The crime is the boulder. Every criminal he puts away is just the rock reaching the top of the hill. And every new crime wave is the rock rolling back down to the bottom. Most people look at Sisyphus and feel pity. We think, What a nightmare. But Camus did something brilliant. He said that Sisyphus is actually the master of his own fate. Why? Because he knows. He is fully aware of how pointless the task is, and he does it anyway. He doesn't do it because he thinks he'll eventually win. He does it because the act of pushing that rock is his. It belongs to him. The gods tried to punish him with futility, but by accepting the futility and keep moving, he wins. He makes the punishment irrelevant. This is the shift we see in the latest Batman. In the beginning, he's fueled by this desperate, almost naive hope for vengeance. He thinks if he scares people enough, the city will change. But by the end, especially after the floods and the chaos, he realizes that vengeance won't fix a broken world. He realizes that the boulder is always going to roll back down. And here's the kicker. Camus ended his essay with a famous line. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. That sounds crazy, right? Happy? Pushing a rock forever? But what he meant was that the joy isn't in the result. The joy, or at least the purpose, is in the struggle itself. When Batman stands in the middle of a disaster, helping people one by one, he's not solving Gotham. He's not ending crime forever. He's just being there. He's choosing to be a light in a place that wants to stay dark. That's his revolt. In Camus' philosophy, the only way to beat a world that makes no sense is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Batman doesn't need Gotham to be fixed to justify his life. He justifies his life by refusing to give up on Gotham, even when he knows it's a lost cause. He accepts the absurd. He looks at the mountain, he looks at the rock, and he says, I'm still here. He's not a hero because he's successful. He's a hero because he's persistent in the face of total failure. Think about how much weight that takes off your shoulders. If you stop worrying about winning or saving the world, and you just focus on the act of doing the right thing right now, the city loses its power over you. The shadows can't scare you if you've already accepted that they'll never go away. You stop being a victim of the darkness, and you start being the guy who defines himself by fighting it. That is the ultimate freedom. It's not about the destination, it's about the walk. But let's be honest for a second. We're not just talking about a guy in a bat costume. If we were, we wouldn't still be obsessed with this character nearly a century later. We're talking about us. We love Batman because, on some level, we all feel like we're pushing our own boulders up a hill that never ends. Think about your own life. Think about that job that sometimes feels like it's leading nowhere. Think about the relationships you try to fix, the habits you try to break, or the world news that makes you feel like no matter how much you care, things just keep getting messier. We live in a world that can feel incredibly absurd every single day. We're told that if we work hard and follow the rules, we'll reach some kind of finish line where everything is perfect. But the finish line keeps moving. The boulder rolls back down. This is why the Pattinson version of Batman resonates so much right now. He looks tired. He looks like he's had enough. He doesn't have the billionaire playboy smile of the older movies because he knows that's a lie. He's living in the reality we all face. The realization that being a good person doesn't mean you're going to be rewarded with a happy ending. Most people respond to this realization in two ways. Either they give up and become cynical, they stop caring because nothing matters anyway, or they fall into despair. But Batman offers a third way, the Camus way. He shows us that you can acknowledge the futility and still find a reason to stand up. You can look at a broken system, a broken city, or even a broken version of yourself and say, okay, it's a mess, but I'm still going to choose how I respond to it. That's where the real power is. It's not in the strength of your muscles or the size of your bank account. It's in the refusal to let a meaningless world dictate your character. When you stop asking, what's the point? And start saying, I am the point. The game changes. Your struggle becomes your badge of honor. You're not a victim of the hill. You're the person who defines the hill. We see this in the way Bruce starts to interact with the people of Gotham towards the end of the story. He stops being just a shadow that punches people and starts being a hand that reaches out. He's not fixing the city's economy or solving crime forever in that moment. He's just helping one person breathe. And in an absurd world, that's not a small thing. It's everything. So, why does he stay? He stays because the darkness doesn't define him, his reaction to it does. Batman is the ultimate proof that you don't need a guarantee of victory to justify a fight. In the end, the most heroic thing about Bruce Wayne isn't that he's a genius or a billionaire. It's that he's a man who looked into the abyss, saw that it was bottomless, and decided to build a ladder anyway, even if that ladder only helps one person at a time. When you see him standing there, drenched in rain, watching the sun come up over a city that is still broken, remember Sisyphus. Remember that his happiness isn't in a crime-free Gotham, but in the fact that he is still the one pushing the stone. He has claimed his struggle. He has turned a curse into a calling. Maybe that's the lesson for all of us. Life is messy, unfair, and often makes no sense at all. The boulders in our lives will keep rolling back down. But as long as we keep our hands on the stone, as long as we refuse to let the futility turn us into shadows, we win. We are the masters of our own absurd mountains. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the philosophy of the Bat. If this perspective changed how you see the Dark Knight or how you see your own struggles, consider subscribing to the channel. We're here every Sunday and Tuesday to look behind the masks and find the truth in the heroes we love. One must imagine Batman happy. And until next time, keep pushing your own stone.